Hey YouTube, I'm back, Oracle DBA girl, and today we're going to talk about a topic a lot of you all have asked me about. I have it here on the screen. We're going to talk about job searching. We're going to talk about your resume, how you should set up your resume. We're going to talk about the interview process as well. I'm going to do my best to put as much information in this as I possibly can. If I leave anything out, I already know you guys will definitely email me. Definitely keep the emails coming. Definitely keep the comments coming. I definitely appreciate you all, and the more you ask questions, the more I'm able to point you all in the right direction. So we will go ahead and get started. And as you all see, I have aspiring Oracle DBAs because that's what this is mainly targeting. So for the first slide, we have new DBAs, where and how to look for jobs. Okay, what I have for the first note is you cannot be limited. You must be willing to move, and you have to be able to sacrifice. Now, I always tell you all I can only go by my experience, and well, with my experience, I'm from a small town, but I moved to Atlanta for better job opportunities. That's when I met my mentor, who trained me to be an Oracle DBA. Once I received my certification and really started looking for jobs, Atlanta had a lot of jobs for seasoned DBAs, but they didn't have anything for junior Oracle DBAs or people who was trying to get their foot wet. So I had to broaden my search. I had to look in other states. I actually have my job in another state. I work in West Virginia. So I just want to let you all know that you cannot be limited. I moved from Georgia to West Virginia. Was it hard? Yes, it was. But you know, if you really want this, you won't limit yourself, and it's a sacrifice that you have to be willing to take. Okay, for the second bullet, I have well, these are just places that I looked. The best places, based on my searches, were Indeed.com and Dice.com. There were other sites out there. You can do Monster, you can do Career Builder, but I had no success with these sites. I also have here, check them daily and subscribe and post your resume on each website. And I can show you all what I mean by that. Let me open up another window here. And I have to be honest and say this is a work computer, you guys. I do a lot of my testing on this computer, so it may be just a little slow. I apologize in advance for it. We're going to do Indeed first. Indeed is definitely the best tops down. I'll just show you all a few features that was on Indeed. So, well, point this out first. Post your resume. I definitely say go ahead and sign in, create a user account, and post your resume. Where, if you want to put your city and state, fine. But if you're from a small town, like I said, it may be limited. At first, I had Atlanta, Georgia over here, but like I said, I didn't come up with much. So, I just did Junior Oracle DBA. Okay. And well, what I like to do is, well, you see that they have 2 new Junior Oracle DBA, but what I like to do is I always go to sort by date. I don't focus on the other stuff. Okay, so the 2 new, they're actually senior positions. What I normally do, I just bypass all those and I just scroll down until I see Junior DBA. And here's one right here, Junior Oracle MySQL Database. I would fill out for that one and just keep it moving. Okay. Sponsors, I don't really deal with them because most of them are 30 days or older. But this one right here says 9 days. So I would go ahead and click on that one and fill out that one. Then I would go ahead and go to the second page. Now, as you can see, there's not many jobs for Junior Oracle DBAs. Well, on the second page, you have, here's one for 4 days. You can click on that one. And those are Oracle DBAs. There's another one, junior database administrator. Now I will say this: anytime I see junior database administrator, 9 times out of 10 it has nothing to do with Oracle, but it won't hurt to click on it and check. So I definitely recommend clicking on that one and checking it out. But I will usually go through and just do these until it get to like 10 days, and I just leave it alone. See, here's one, Oracle DBA Junior. So you can fill that one out and you see where the state is. So it's a long shot, but hey, you know. So that's usually how I would do it. Another great thing about Indeed is right here, if you put in your email address and you hit activate, what will happen is, you see this says Junior Oracle DBA. Every new job that has Junior Oracle DBA in it, they'll email it to you. You also want to play with words with this. Like, sometimes you can just spell it out. You have to really play with words. Like, I'll do Junior Oracle Database Administrator. Now, sometimes you may not get nothing, and sometimes you will. It just depends. But you have to play with the words. You won't know until you try. So you do that. You have to really play with words. I'm trying to see some other words. Entry level database. Well, Oracle. You want to always put Oracle. Oracle DBA. And you want to just go with it. As you can see here, it says entry level DBA. And then it has Oracle there. It was 5 days ago, but hey, you can't beat it. Look, seeking entry level database administrator. And then there's Oracle. So you want to really go through these things, because you won't know unless you try. And any of them that you think is good, you want to actually have it emailed to yourself. And I just saw another one. This looks pretty good right here, Oracle DBA. Well, that's in Atlanta, but it didn't say entry. But you all see what I'm saying. That says entry level Oracle DBA, entry level. So as you all can see, they're definitely out there. Here's another one. That was 10 days ago. Hiring entry level Oracle DBA. You can't beat it. And you just go through the pages. And that's only Indeed.com. We can also check out Dice. So Dice is where I found my job at. I definitely say these are the best two. I didn't like Career Builder as much, and I didn't like Monster as much, but this is only my personal experience. So you do the same thing here. I think I had more success here with entry level DBA here as well. Didn't put anything for the city and state. And see, as you can tell, you see what comes up. Junior entry level DBA. I filled out for this application. They never got back to me, but I think that's a good opportunity. So I would suggest filling that out after you get your certification, because they definitely want you to have a certification. And then here's another one, hiring entry level Oracle DBA. And here's another one, entry level DBA. And you see all these are today. So you guys see that these things, they are pretty good. You also want to put junior Oracle DBA. Play with words, you guys. That's the best thing that I can tell you as far as job searching. Let me see what else I have on this PowerPoint. Okay, apply even if you don't meet all the requirement. It can't hurt. And to give you all some background on that, a lot of the people that I train with, they actually applied for positions where they required 3 to 5 years experience. And I actually have a friend who just received a job as an Oracle DBA. And they were requiring 5 years. It won't hurt to fill out the applications. You never know until you try. And you know, like I told you guys, hey, I'm a Christian, so I believe in pray over it and see what happens. If it happened, that was God's will, and you know, keep it moving. Okay, play with words. We talked about that. We talked about keywords. It's just playing with words, same type thing. Fill out at least 2 applications a day. I think that's a good tip that I would give you all. Just make sure you're constantly putting your applications out there, because you know, so many people fill out these applications, and you just want to make sure that you are in rotation. As far as these job applications, Indeed definitely emails you the different jobs, and you want to fill out all those jobs that they email you. So I think Dice does it as well, but I'm not 100% sure. So you all definitely want to make sure you look at that. Okay, we're going to move to the next slide. Okay, this says application and resume. Okay, I have interviewers are looking to throw applications out. So make sure you go over and beyond when filling out an application. Well, let me go ahead and read the second statement I have. Applications tend to be very short, and that's because from what I've experienced, they're more interested in your resume than they are your application. I have seen long DBAs application, so with those you want to make sure you're filling out everything correctly. They will throw it out the window for grammar, punctuation, any little thing. So make sure that you know you're answering. If they ask you a question, make sure you're answering the questions in a complete sentence. Most applications that I've seen has been very short. They are more interested in what's on your resume. They're looking for that knowledge. They're looking for that experience. An application is not really going to tell you that at times. It's just going to be background information and stuff like that. I have here resume is very important. I should say extremely important. And keywords. Okay, I had keywords here. And keywords fit more better as far as resume, and I'll explain in just a little while. Okay, this is just something I did. I filled out at least 10 applications a week for like 3 weeks. Out of that, I only had 2 interviews. But even now, I still have all kind of recruiters emailing me, and that's because I posted my resumes on these different sites. So I can't stress that enough, you guys. People are looking for Oracle DBA, especially if you got some type of experience. So make sure you put your resume out there. I wanted to point out keywords. When I have keywords here, what I mean is there's certain things you want to have in your resume that, for instance, you want to have something like definitely Oracle. We all know Oracle, but you want to have the basics of what an Oracle DBA does. Backup and recovery would be a basic. I will say this: if you don't know how to do it, do not put it on your resume, because whatever you put on your resume, that's exactly what they're going to ask you in an interview. But it's certain stuff that you want to have. You want to have keywords. If you're not sure what I mean about keywords, just Google a job description for Oracle DBA. In that job description, whatever duties or tasks it have there, if you don't know how to do it, those are the things you need to focus on. Those are the type keywords you need to have. Also, you need to have, I think I have it down here. Let's see. The last one I have, a lot of resumes do not make it. It goes in a no pile. Make sure it's something in your resume that is in the job description. Keywords would be words that's in the job description that's on your resume. Line your resume up with the job description. But again, I will reiterate, if you don't know how to do something that's on a job description, do not put it in your resume, because trust me, they will ask you. You want your resume to stand out some type of way. And well, okay, I deleted my first video, but I had my resume on that one. I wasn't comfortable using my resume only because I put in so much hard work, and I do take pride in my resume. I'm not ready to share that with the world yet, but I found a resume online that I thought was pretty good, and so I pull that up now. There it is. Okay, this resume here, and here's the website if you all want to check it out. Resume-resource.com extec15.html. This is a pretty good resume. I don't know who this guy is, but it's pretty good. I will say this: when you get your certifications, they're gonna give you logos, and feel free to put your logos on the top of your resume to make your resume stand out. And that's one of the things that I wanted to mention. And I guess I can show you all what the logos look like. So Google.com. It's a very simple professional logo. Oracle OCA logo. Well, I guess I should have did this. Images. Oracle OCA logo. Okay, so this is the logo for this is the logo for 11G, Oracle Certified Associate. They give you a copy of those and you can just place it on your resume. So hey, if you don't have it, don't put it up there, because if you get a job, they're gonna ask for that proof that you were certified. I will say that. But that is the logo. So anyway, this is a pretty good resume. It's formatted pretty nicely, but I will be honest and say you can still get just a little bit better based off the formatting. Formatting is very important. It will make your resume stand out more. When I mean formatting is the way that he has everything just so sort of, okay, these lines are great. It makes his resume stands out. It's not just words on the paper. It's just a little to look at. You know, I definitely think he could have did just a little bit better, but it's not the average resume, if you ask me. So you all find ways to format your resume. Just don't be like plain Jane or plain Joe. You know, go over and beyond with your resume, because this is the first thing people see. You know, people judge a book by its cover, so they're going to see this before they ever see your face. They're going to see this before they ever talk to you. Just make sure that this is on point. I definitely believe my resume got me in the door. So I have to stress that, you guys. Please make sure you do an excellent job on your resume. Oh, and one thing I wanted to point out, I was looking at this resume. One thing I didn't see that I think he should have had on his resume was personal attributes. I think personal professional attributes. Like, I think it's important to mention that you are a team player. You have to say things that show them your personality a little bit. You are a team player. You work great on your own. You're able to troubleshoot, but word this in your own way, in complete sentences. You know, I just think that that's something that's pretty good to have on a resume. Professional personal attributes. You know, tell about you, what would make you a good fit for the team. So I wanted to share that with you all. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next slide. Okay, for the interview process. Okay, how is the interview process for a new Oracle Database Administrator? Again, I can only give you all my personal experience. I will be honest with you all. For me, it was extremely nerve-wracking. I had never done anything like it in my life. It's not a one-on-one interview. The first interview was a phone conversation, and there were a panel of 8 people. It ranged from, I think, 3 or 4 DBAs, the director of the DBAs, HR for the IT department, all kind of people. It was like 8 people in all. So how it works is, okay, everybody is going to introduce themselves. After they introduce themselves, that's it. My interview was an hour. And from the time they started questioning me to the time we got off the phone, it was non-stop. As soon as one person asks a question, another person comes right behind them and asks a question. So I wasn't ready for that. I mean, mentally, it's just, wow, it's mind blowing. I remember, I would say after maybe the 5th or 6th question, I end up saying, I apologized to them, and I told them I had never been through anything like this. Let me catch my breath. Let me breathe. So once I calmed down a little bit and breathed and told myself it was okay, It's just questions. I was able to take control, a little control of the interview. I'm not going to say control, but I was able to control how I responded. Also, I realized that these questions are going to keep coming and coming and coming. At first, I would just answer the questions, like make it short and sweet, but I realized what they were doing. Once I realized what they were doing, I began to elaborate longer on the questions. And I definitely would say that to you, because the questions are going to just keep coming and coming and coming. So, if you elaborate on questions, the more you elaborate, the less questions that they can ask you. So I definitely want to point that out. It was very nerve-wracking, but you have to be able to take control. Qualities. I think I want to go ahead too and mention this. Another thing that's important that I noticed in my interview process was I felt like they asked a whole bunch of customer service questions. And at first that didn't make any sense to me. Why are they asking me all these customer service oriented questions? Now that I am a database administrator, I understand. You're going to be working with so many users. These users are like your customers, even though they're not actually, they're like customers. Let's just say that. You have to be able to work with people. You have to have great customer service skill. You have to know how to talk to people. So I wanted to point that out. They did ask a lot of customer service questions. They asked a lot of database administration questions. They asked a lot of questions to see what type of person I was. Quality skills that interviewer look for in a new database administrator. Okay, there's a lot, so I actually just wrote all these down. Let's see what I have here. I have hiring managers will ignore nervousness because they know you want to do your best to impress them. They know it will be more than likely your first time interviewing with the panel. And they explained that to me in the second interview. And I can't say this. This is not all DBAs companies. I've heard all kinds of horror stories. I can't say if I was lucky or not, but I'm glad I had the process that I did. But I don't want anybody to go in with any pre-notation that it's going to be exactly how I said it is. No, I'm not saying that. I'm only giving you my experience. Okay? Hiring managers are usually looking for someone who is a good fit for the organization. And I do think that's everybody. They're usually looking for a good team player. And that's because you will be working with other DBAs. I think I work with a total of 12 other DBAs. They're usually looking for someone who has basic knowledge of Oracle. And you can get that from, the 1Z0052 book that I gave to you all. And when I say basic knowledge, you guys, if you don't know how to start up a database, it's no reason. You should not even go to a interview, because that's always going to be an interview question. They're looking for someone who has an analytical mind. You have to be able to troubleshoot. You also have to be well-rounded as far as computers, hardworking, and networking. And I will go ahead and I can't stress that part enough, because we work with so many different, you work with software. You have to figure out what's causing issues, and you will deal with those things. You have to be very well-rounded when it comes to dealing with computers and things like that. If you have an IT background, you're good. I can't say that. You have to be able to work on your own. Hands down. You just have to be. You have to be a team player, but you also have to be able to work on your own. You have to have customer service skills, and I explained that to you. You have to be able to do research on your own and find possible solutions, and from there you can build on your knowledge. And I say that because, well, the thing is, you guys, as an Oracle DBA, you will be making critical decisions that not only affects you, but it affects your users. It affects, who you give access to. You have a lot of control in your hand as a database administrator. You have to know and always be willing to learn. You guys, I've been working 8 months now, 8 going on 9 months, and I will say this: I'm not comfortable with my job yet. It's still very stressful at times. I mean, I love my job. I love everything about it. I love the rush that comes with it. But right now, every day is a challenge. Every day is a challenge. Something new is always coming up. I still have a pen. I still have pencil pads, saving notes on my computer. I think my notes, one of my Word documents, I'm like on page 80 something. That's just how many notes I have. I used to find all the time to find solutions to issues. I mean, stuff like that is coming up every day. You have to write stuff down. I cannot stress that. If you get a job, go in writing everything down. Everything. I cannot stress that enough. You have to write this stuff down. I can't say that I do see people who they seem like they can do it in their sleep, but as a new DBA, I will say this: that book, I feel like that book is that 1Z0052. That's only like maybe 20 or 30% of your job. Everything else you have to learn, and that book only gives you a foundation. That's it. It only gives you a foundation. So I want to make sure I stress that out to you all. Okay. All right. So number two, what are the things that will cause a person not to be hired as a new DBA? Okay. If you lack basic Oracle knowledge, like I said, if you don't know how to start up or shut down a database, then you're not getting that job. Okay. If they can pick up on you not being able to troubleshoot issues, and what I mean by that is they're gonna ask you troubleshooting issues. If you know how to do basic troubleshooting, you know that it's all the same when it comes to basic troubleshooting, that you want to start from the bottom and work your way up. If you can't explain that with basic troubleshooting questions, they're going to be able to pick up on that. Okay, if you're not a team player, they're going to ask questions to really get to the bottom of if you're a team player or not. Okay, yeah, this is another thing. I cannot stress this enough. Okay, like I have, this applies to new DBAs, right? If you are a new DBA, you cannot be cocky. It doesn't matter. And what I say is cocky is, I've seen people come in interviews and they want to talk about, okay, I did this at this help desk, and I did this with this server, and I did this with Linux, but they're so cocky with it. You can't be arrogant and you can't be cocky if you're trying to get a new DBA job. And I say that because, yes, some of that stuff helps, but you're going into a whole different other ball game. You're going into a whole different other field. So if you don't have humility and an attitude of I'm willing to learn and I don't know nothing and I want you all to teach me because I know absolutely nothing, you're not going to make it. I just want to stress that. I guess the hiring people, they can pick up on that quick. So I just want to make sure you point that out, that I want to make sure I point that out, that you're willing to learn and you want to get good information, and you're good at taking criticism. If you're not open-minded and you think you know everything and you think you got it and you think you can save the world because you built this server and you did that, you can't be a brand new Oracle DBA. It's just not gonna work. Okay. Read the job description. Don't come into the interview without knowledge of the job description. Make sure you know that job description, you guys. I guess I put here like saying what is Oracle, or I don't know how to start up an Oracle database. You all would be surprised so many people come in interviews and they don't know how to start up an Oracle database. The job description, they're going to ask questions from that job description. So you need to know the basics of everything that's in that job description. Be prepared. Be overly prepared, as a matter of fact, and show them that you want the job. And what I mean by that is do pre-work. Pre-work is sort of what we're doing now. Installing the databases. Getting in that book. Doing stuff on that database. And you know, as we go on further with these tutorials, I'm going to get into other things and show you all how to manage the database and eventually get to cloning and backups and doing stuff like that. Okay? So that's what I mean by pre-work. Alright, number 3. Does personality / character play a huge role in the hiring manager's decision to hire? Even if a person does not have a lot of knowledge. Okay. Some hiring managers for new DBAs, they do look at personality and characters. And I said some. Keyword is some. Because Oracle DBA, they need people. So if you can get a job done, they'll work with you. But you have to think about it. It ties into being a team player. You have to be able to work together with people. There's going to be a lot of databases. I think we do, I don't even know. I want to say hundreds of databases. It's not telling how many databases we do. We manage. So you're going to be working with a team of people. I think in all I manage 9 databases on my own, but there are times when I have to work on other people's databases because they're not there. Even if I don't know everything about their databases, I have to work on their databases. I have to communicate with these people and let them know, hey, this is what I did on your database and yada, yada, yada. You know, we all have to brainstorm and come up with solutions. You know, we have to work as a team, figure stuff out as a team. You meet with your team at least 2 or 3 times a week. So you have to be a team player. Let's see, what else do I have here? Okay, it also matters because the DBA have to interact with user. We discussed that. You have to know how to make right decisions on your own. We discussed that. And you also have to be a trustworthy person. And I say that because this company data, they're critical data. You know, they say money make the world go around. From what I've learned with database administrator, data make the world go round. Without data, you have nothing. And that's why database administrators get paid so much, because, you know, the data is the life of that company, and they have to trust you. And when you're in these interviews, the companies have to feel like they can trust you. So personality and character plays a major part. I asked that question to a few hiring managers because I've seen cases where people, they lack knowledge, but their personality and their character definitely made up for it. If they showed willingness to learn based on the knowledge that they already had, you know, I think actually we just hired somebody. He had, I want to say he was I think MySQL database administrator or Microsoft SQL database administrator. He was one of those things, and he knew the concepts of being a database administrator, but he didn't know anything about Oracle. But it was his personality that shined through. It was his character. It was his willingness to learn. He had showed us pre-work that he had done. He actually showed us an application that he had did and ran, and you know, these are the type of things that, you know, you have to bring your A game. These are the type of people that you will be competing with. So I just want to bring that to your attention. We're going to go ahead and move on. Okay, I have here some sample interview questions every aspiring DBA should know. So we'll go ahead and get started with those. Okay, I'm going to try to make this just a little bit more interactive because for the most part I've just been talking. Again, how to start up and shut down a database, and why do shut down immediate instead of shut down abort. So let me pull up my database. Where's Putty? Let me pull up Putty. I'm gonna pull up Putty. Okay. And again, you guys gotta apologize. This is a test computer, so the RAM and the processor is a bit slow on this computer. Okay. Alright, so I told you all the first thing you always want to do is set your profile. Alright, and we're going to do SQL plus. Log in as DBA, who is the super user. Yeah, it's a little slow. I may pause the video because it's a little slow. I'm going to pause the video, you guys, okay? Okay, there it is. Well, the SQL sign still hasn't come up. I'm going to pause the video, okay? Okay, so it came up and it says connected to an idle instance. When it says connected to an idle instance, that means your database is not up. So to start it up, you can do either two things. You can type the word startup, and that's what I'm going to do. Or you can type startup open. But I'm more accustomed to typing startup. So I'm just going to type startup. It is going to take a second because, like I told you, my database is slow right now. So I'm going to actually pause it again. Alright, so the database is open. So to shut down the database, well, I also want to mention this. There's also, I think, 3 other ways that you can open the database. You have startup mount, startup no mount, and it's just those 2. Plus startup. If you don't know what they mean, go look them up. I'm not going to give you all that. But now we're just going to shut down the database. Actually, we need to leave it up because I'm actually going to leave it up. Do I want to shut? I'll leave it up. To shut down the database, though, there's also 3 ways to shut down a database. You have, I'm not going to give you all of them. I'm just going to give you, well, I can't give them to you. You have shut down abort, shut down transactional, and you have shut down immediate. As a database administrator, when you're in a production area, when you're working in a production environment, you always want to do shut down immediate. The reason is because that is considered a clean shutdown. Shutdown abort is going to be a dirty shutdown. A clean shutdown, basically what will happen is the database will not shut down until every user has committed a transaction. If committed or the transaction is rolled back. If that has not taken place, then the database will not shut down. So if you don't know what that means, you got work to do. You all go ahead and get on that. But we're going to leave the database up. We're just going to exit out. And let's go to the next question. The next question is, what is the difference between a hot backup or a hot backup, and that should be, and a cold backup? Okay, a hot backup is, let's go back to this. Where's the database? As you can see, the database is open. So a hot backup is when your database is open. If I was to do a backup right now with the database up, that is a hot backup, or that is an online backup. If I shut down a database and I do a backup, that's going to be a cold backup or an offline backup. Also, it's the same thing for cloning. If you clone a database with it up, that is a hot clone. If you clone a database with it down, that is a cold clone. You can also do the same thing with patching. You can hot patch or you can cold patch. Or you can do live patching, which is with the database being up. So that's just terminology that database administrator use and that I hope you all can find helpful. What is the difference between a P file and an XP file? And as you go through the book, you all will see this. And I'm just giving you our basic interview questions that every DBA should know. So we'll go ahead and go back with this. Okay, so we're gonna first go to that location. I'm gonna show it to you all. So we're gonna CD to Oracle base. Oracle home. This is Oracle home DBS. And then you're gonna do LS. Okay, so these are where the files are located. This is your SP file, and that's the name of the database, testdatabase.org. Okay, this is your P file. It's actually also called init.org. Now, these are basically your initialization parameter files. Okay, now the difference between the two is the SP file is dynamic. And what that means is you can make changes to your SP file and they will change automatically. And also, I need to explain